City life originated in Mesopotamia, located between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers, now part of Iraq, known for prosperity and rich literature, mathematics, and astronomy. Spread of writings to Mesopotamian writing systems and literature expanded to regions like the eastern Mediterranean, northern Syria, and Turkey around 2000 BCE, facilitating communication among the regional kingdoms and Egypt. Historical terminology: South Mesopotamia was termed Sumer and Akkad. Post 2000 BCE, it became known as Babylonia, and northern regions were recognized as Assyria from 1100 BCE. Language evolution: Sumerian was the first known language, gradually replaced by Akkadian around 2400 BCE. Aramaic emerged around 1400 BCE and significantly spread post 1000 BCE, remaining in use in the parts of Iraq. Archaeological significance: excavations initiated in the 1840s at key sites like Uruk and Mari revealed Mesopotamia's historical relevance through structures, artifacts, and numerous written documents. Western interest: Mesopotamia's prominence in the Old Testament sparked European interest, prompting archaeological ventures to affirm biblical narratives. Evolution of archaeology: by the 1960s, understanding evolved that Old Testament stories were metaphorical rather than literal historical accounts, shifting focus to people's daily lives. Geographical diversity: Iraq's diverse environments, from tree covered mountains with agricultural suitability to the northern steppe, supporting herding, underpin Mesopotamia's unique historical development. Fertile cities in the desert: despite being a desert, southern Mesopotamia fostered early cities and writing, owing to fertile soils from the Euphrates and Tigris rivers during the flooding. Agricultural productivity: despite low rainfall, southern Mesopotamia's agriculture was highly productive, enabled by irrigation channels from the Euphrates. Rich yield supported city life alongside animal grazing and fishing opportunities. The significance of urbanism: urban economy's diversity. Cities and towns are more than just populated areas. The urban economy involves trade, manufacturing, and services beyond food production. This diversification attracts people to cluster in the urban areas. Interdependence in urban life: cities create a need for interaction and dependence among the people. For example, a stone carver relies on bronze tool makers since he cannot produce them himself. Each specialist focuses on their specific skill set, such as fine carving or tool making. Role of division of labor: urban living often feature a clear division of labor, and this division is illustrated by various specialists such as stone carvers and tool makers. It allows individuals to focus on specialized tasks, contributing to overall productivity. Need for social organization: effective urban functioning requires organized social structures. Resources like metal, stone, and food are sourced from different locations. Organized trade and storage systems become essential in this dynamic. Coordination of activities: different activities in urban centers require synchronization. Seal cutters need specific tools and materials, such as stones and bronze tools. Coordination ensures the smooth flow of goods and services. Authority and record keeping: a system of authority emerges to command and organize tasks. Urban economies often necessitate maintaining written records. Written records help manage the complexities of urban transactions. The Varka head sculpture: the Varka head is a marble sculpture from ancient Uruk. The sculpture's eyes and eyebrows likely used lapis lazuli, shell, and bitumen inlays. The artwork is celebrated for its delicate modeling and intricate details. Procurement of materials: creating the Varka head required importing hard stones from the afar. This indicates the extent of trade networks for acquiring specific resources. Specialists involved in the sculpture production. Stone suppliers sourced the marble used in sculpting. Sculptors carved the marble into the desired shape. Metal workers created the tool used for sculpting. Traders facilitated the exchange and transport of materials. Artists applied decorative inlays to the sculpture. Cultural significance of art. Sculptures like the Varka had reflect artistic achievement and cultural importance. These artworks offer insights into the historical trade and material procurement. Movement of goods into cities. Mesopotamian mineral scarcity. Mesopotamia was rich in food resources but had few mineral resources. The south lacked stones for tools, seals, and jewels. Iraqi date palm and poplar wood were not suitable for making carts, wheels, or boats. No native metals were available for tools, vessels, or ornaments. Trade with neighboring regions. Mesopotamians traded textiles and agricultural produce. For minerals, regions like Turkey and Iran provided wood, copper, tin, silver, and gold. Shells and various stones were exchanged across the Gulf. Social organization and trade. Trade required social organization for equipping expeditions. Exchange of goods was directed from the southern Mesopotamia. Regular exchanges facilitated resource acquisition. Importance of crafts and services. Diversification of economy through the crafts, trade, and services. Contribution of crafts in urban and economic growth highlighted. Urban development and transport. Efficient transport is key to urban development. High transport costs through the animals can make city economies unviable. Modes of transportation. Water transport is the cheapest mode everywhere. River boats and barges leverage river currents and wind for transport. Animal driven transport demands regular feed. Water channels as transport routes. Mesopotamia's canals and channels facilitated the movement of goods, and these water routes connected large and small settlements. The role of the Euphrates rivers. The Euphrates was a significant world route for transportation. Its importance to the city of Mari is notable. Challenges in the Mesopotamia infrastructure, lack of native resources demanded extensive trade networks. Innovative solutions for transportation were critical due to regional jealousy. Connecting ancient civilizations, trade routes linked Mesopotamia with Turkey, Iran, and Gulf regions. These exchanges fostered cultural and resource exchanges. The development of writing, verbal communication. All societies have languages where spoken sounds carry specific meanings, known as verbal communication. Writing is verbal communication. Writing is another form of verbal communication involving the representation of spoken sounds in the visible signs. Early Mesopotamian writing. The first Mesopotamian tablets, circa 3200 BCE, contained picture like signs and numbers, primarily recording goods exchanged in the temple's transactions. The purpose of writing emerged to keep records of transactions due to the complexity and frequency of dealings in the city life. Clay tablets. Mesopotamians wrote on the clay tablets using cuneiform created by pressing wedge-shaped designs into moist clay with the oblique ends of a reed. Preservation of tablets. Once dried, clay tablets hardened and became durable, making them almost as resistant to decay as pottery. Usage of tablets. Each transaction required a separate tablet as dried surfaces could not be reused, resulting in multiple tablets at Mesopotamian sites. Evolution of writing. By 2600 BCE, cuneiform writing in the Sumerian language documented not only transactions but also laws, kingly deeds, and dictionary entries. Language transition. By 2400 BCE, Akkadian replaced Sumerian as the main language in the Mesopotamian, with the cuneiform still in the use until the 1st century CE. Historical significance. The abundance of clay tablets provides extensive insights into the Mesopotamian society, offering more information than available for the contemporary India. The system of writing cuneiform sound representation. The sound that a cuneiform sign represents is a syllable rather than a single consonant or vowel. For example, sounds can include syllables like put, la, or in, unlike English letters like m or a. Complexity of cuneiform learning. Mesopotamian scribes had to learn hundreds of signs, and this required them to have a detailed knowledge and the ability to remember many different syllables associated with each sign. Writing methodology. The process of writing involved handling a wet clay tablet. Scribes had to inscribe before the clay dried, and this required speed and precision, marking it as an essential skill. Skill and craft of writing. Writing was a skilled craft requiring not only manual dexterity and speed but also intellectuals' prowess to manage the complexity of the syllabic system. Intellectual achievement. Writing systems such as cuneiform represented a considerable intellectual achievement. They transferred the sound systems of language into a visual form, enabling the intricate representation of language. Literacy. In Mesopotamia, very few Mesopotamians were literate due to the complex nature of their writing system involving hundreds of signs. The complexity of signs. Many of the signs in the Mesopotamian writing were complex, making it difficult for the individuals to learn them. Kings and literacy. If a Mesopotamian king could read, it was often recorded in boastful inscriptions as a notable achievement. Writing as oral tradition. Writing often reflected the mode of speaking, as many documents needed to be read out loud. Communication with the king. Letters to the king would be read aloud, beginning with the phrases such as, "To my lord, I speak. Thus says your servant to be. I have carried out the work assigned to me." Mythical poem conclusion. A mythical creation poem concludes with a call for the remembrance and teaching, emphasizing the importance of oral traditions. Role of elders and scholars. The narrative suggests elders should teach the poem, that wise scholars should discuss it. Father's duty in oral tradition. Fathers were encouraged to repeat the verses to their sons, promoting cultural transmission through the generations. Inclusivity in learning. Even herdsmen were to have their ears open to these verses, indicating a society wide encouragement of learning. Significance of oral tradition. Despite limited literacy, verbal teaching and repetition were key in preserving and sharing cultural narratives. The uses of writing. Epic of Enmerkar. An ancient Sumerian epic documents the role of Enmerkar, ruler of Uruk, in establishing trade and the use of writing. City and trade. Uruk, known as the city par excellence, is depicted as a center of trade and culture, illustrating the connection between urban life and economic activities. Trade origins. Enmerkar is credited with the initiating the first trade in the Sumer, as the epic states that trade was previously unknown. Lapis lazuli and metals. Enmerkar soft lapis lazuli and precious metals from Aratta to adorn a temple in Uruk. Messenger's journey. The messenger travels, guided by stars at night and the sun during the day, crosses multiple mountain ranges, faces challenges in negotiation with the chief of Aratta. Communication challenges. Continuous failed negotiations lead the messenger to mix up messages, highlighting the need for an organized form of communication. Invention of writing. When verbal messages fail, Enmerkar creates a clay tablet to record the words, symbolizing the emergence of writing in the Mesopotamia. Reaction to writing. The chief of Aratta examines the clay tablet with a frowning face, perceiving the written word with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. Kingship and organization. The epic suggests that kingship played a crucial role in organizing trade and introducing writing. marking the administration and governance advancement. Writing as urban superiority. Writing in the epic represents not just a utility for record keeping and communication, but also a mark of the cultural superiority of Mesopotamian civilization. Urbanization in the southern Mesopotamia, temples and kings. Development of settlements. Settlements began around 5000 BCE in southern Mesopotamia. Earlier cities emerged as temples and trade centers. Early temples constructed built on the selected village spots with origins unknown. Initial shrines made from unbaked bricks. Role of temples housed various deities like the moon, god, and Inanna. Centers of worship and owners of community resources. Involved in production and trade distribution. Agricultural challenges naturally fertile but vulnerable to floods and water disputes. Conflict over land and water due to irrigation issues. War and leadership. War leaders gained influence through the distribution of loot. Victorious leaders improved community through the temple enhancement. Population movements. In 3000 BCE, Uruk expanded to 250 hectares, doubling Mohenjo-daro's size. Mass resettlement to protect against warfare. Labor and rationing. Mass workforce undertook temple construction, received rations. Ration list recorded grain, cloth, and oil allocation. Technological advances, introduce of bronze tools and brick columns. Potter's wheel enabled mass production of pots. Cylindrical seals, distinct to Mesopotamia, used for authenticity and security. Intricate craftsmanship often included honors details. Symbolic artifacts, sculptures and mosaics symbolized cultural achievements. Steel and seals represented role in public life. Now, life in the city, ruling elite and wealth. A small section of the society held much of the wealth. Riches such as jewelry and ceremonial daggers were buried with kings and queens at Ur. Ordinary people's lives. Legal texts provide insights into the social structure. The nuclear family was common, but married sons lived with their parents. The father was the head of the family. Marriage procedures, declaration, and parental consent initiated marriages. The groom's family gave a gift to the bride's family. Gifts were exchanged and offerings made at the temple during the weddings. The bride received her inheritance share when fetched by her mother in law. Inheritance practices. The father's property was typically inherited by the sons. Ur's infrastructure. Narrow, winding streets were prevalent in the Ur. Wheeled carts were impractical goods arrived in the donkey bag. City lacked formal town planning with the irregular house plots. No street drains, only in the house drainage system. Rainwater and streets. Rainwater channeled via drain pipes into the courtyard sumps to avoid slushy streets. Streets littered with household refusing, affecting street levels over time. Household architecture. Light came through the doorways opening into the courtyards. This design ensured family privacy. Superstitions included the efficiency of doorways. A specific door orientation brought luck or hardship. Household superstitions. Raised threshold believed to bring wealth. A front door not facing another was considered auspicious. An outward opening house door supposedly led to domestic turmoil. Burial practices at Ur, town cemetery, contained graves of both royalty and commoners. Some individuals were buried under the house floors, indicating a unique tradition. Archaeological significance of Ur. Ur is among the earliest cities excavated, providing historic insights. Finding reveals aspects of daily life, infrastructure, and cultural practices. A trading town in a pastoral zone. The rise of Mari. The royal capital of Mari became important post 2000 BCE, located upstream on the Euphrates away from the southern plains. Region supported agriculture and animal rearing alongside agricultural and pastoral societies. Some communities combined farming and pasturing. Exchange between herders and farmers included livestock, cheese, and grain. Potential conflicts arose due to grazing patterns affecting crops. Migration and integration. Nomadic communities from the western desert integrated into the Mesopotamia. These groups sometimes established their own rule and influenced the culture. The influence of Amorites. Amorites were among those who established rule in the Mari, and they respected Mesopotamian gods and had their own deity, Dagon. Sculptures depict unique Amorite dress and weaponry. The palace at Mari, the residence of the royal family and center of administration, known for producing precious metal ornaments. Sprawling structure with 260 rooms and significant food provision. Trade and prosperity of Mari, located at key trade points on the Euphrates River. Goods traded included wood, copper, tin, wine, and oil. Mari gained wealth from trade despite not being militarily strong. Mesopotamian archaeological practices. Modern excavation emphasizes accuracy and careful recording. Techniques include surface scraping to reveal ancient outlines. Abu Salah Big excavation findings. Small town with a population under 10,000 in 2500 BCE. Excavations revealed wall outlines, plant and animal remains. Understanding lifestyles through the archaeology. Analysis of room floors helped identify living arrangements. Discovery of pig bones and charred remains indicated daily life practices. Evidence of cultural practices. House burials included items like pig bones as offerings for the afterlife. Ongoing integration influenced cultural evolutions and practices. Cities in Mesopotamian culture. Mesopotamian valuation of city life. Mesopotamian highly valued city life for its diverse and multicultural communities, and their appreciation was evident even after cities were destroyed in wars, as they often nostalgically recalled them in poetry. The Gilgamesh Epic. The Gilgamesh Epic, a significant Mesopotamian poem, is composed of 12 tablets. It concludes with a deep reflection on the city pride through the story of Gilgamesh, who admires the city of Uruk. Gilgamesh rule in Uruk. Gilgamesh is said to have been a ruler of Uruk, succeeding after Enmerkar's reign. His leadership was marked by his heroism and the admiration he received from his people. Heroism of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is celebrated as a great hero who subdued various regions. Despite his achievements, the loss of his close friends led him to seek the secret of immortality. Quest for immortality. Driven by his fear of death, Gilgamesh embarked on a journey seeking the secret to eternal life. He crossed waters surrounding the earth in pursuit of this elusive goal. Returned to Uruk. After failing in his quest for immortality, Gilgamesh returned home to Uruk. He found comfort in revisiting and admiring the city's robust foundation. Admiration of Uruk's city wall. Upon his return, Gilgamesh would walk along the walls of Uruk, admiring its sturdy foundation made from fired bricks, and this became a source of consolation for him. Symbolism of Uruk's foundation. The fired bricks in the city wall symbolize strength and human achievement in building cities, and this foundation left a legacy that outlived its maker. Gilgamesh's reflection in contrast to the tribal heroes of his time. Gilgamesh found comfort in the lasting creation of a city rather than lineage. This unusual perspective highlights the cultural value placed on the cities. Now, conclusion of the Gilgamesh epic. The tale concludes with Gilgamesh accepting mortality and valuing the enduring city of Uruk. It encapsulates the essence of heroism, cultural values, and recognition of human achievement. Now, the legacy of writing. Importance of written texts in science. While oral transmission suits narratives, science relies on the written texts for scholarly progress and continuation. Mathematical legacy of Mesopotamia. Mesopotamians developed mathematical tablets for multiplication, division, square roots, and compound interest as early as 1800 BCE. Time reckoning techniques. Mesopotamians divided time into 12 months, lunar cycle, 4 weeks per month, 24 hours a day, 60 minutes an hour. astronomical observations. Records were meticulously kept of lunar and solar eclipses and the position of stars and constellations, noting occurrences by the year, month, and day. The role of writing and education. Writing and urban schools played pivotal roles in preserving and expanding scholarly work, allowing intellectuals to build on the past wisdom. Assyrian Empire and cultural heritage. The Assyrian Empire of 720-610 BCE was vast and acknowledged Babylonia as a center of high culture. Assurbanipal's library at Nineveh, the Assyrian king collected extensive tablets on the various subjects, cataloging them with the clay labels by subject, yielding a collection of about 30,000 tablets. Nabonidus and the revitalization of tradition. Nabonidus rediscovered and preserved ancient cultures like appointing a priestess or repairing statues out of reverence for the gods and kingship. Timeline of Mesopotamian developments. 7000 to 600 BC, agriculture begins in northern Mesopotamia. 5000 BC, first southern temples constructed. 3200 BCE, invention of writing in Mesopotamia. 1800 BCE, mathematical texts composed. Now, spread of Mesopotamian culture from 2370 BC, cuneiform writing spread to Syria, Turkey, and Egypt, influencing evolving urban centers like Mari and Babylon. By 1100 BCE, the Assyrian kingdom was established and influenced neighboring regions.